What if I was to tell you there is an ancient map that exists already and almost no one has been talking about it, and I'm going to present it to you in the next few seconds. So, this map that you can see is part of the Thangka paintings. Now, the Thangka paintings are a very important spiritual tool. There are spiritual tools like stories of Sufis or the koans of Zen, and Thangka paintings are also a tool. So, it does entertain you, but more than that, it gives you this profound seed of knowledge that will sprout when the right time comes. So let's dive into this Thangka painting. So if you look at this painting, the first thing that you should notice is the path starts at the monastery. At one point in life, we all have that moment of conviction and disenchantment with the world, when we realize that the inner journey is significant and we have to travel the inner path at one point or the other in our lives. So that is what the monastery represents. Then we see that there is a monk that's chasing an elephant and a monkey in the first picture. So, what's happening there? Let me explain it to you. If you see, there is this elephant, and that wild elephant represents our untamed, wild, natural mind. It can easily be enchanted with hollow dreams and aspirations. And that is what the monkey is doing. Now, the monkey represents the silliness of our thoughts. How silly is it all? We dream about being the king, and just a few moments later, we feel guilty that maybe we are the beggar. Self doubt, self guilt, or highly pompous ambitions about the self. All those things are where the monkey takes us, and there is no direction. You just have to lie on a bed and you'll realize how random all those things are. And the wild elephant, that's the mind. Until now, it just knows the thoughts. And the mind and the thoughts are so interconnected and clung with each other that it is unimaginable for the mind to have a state without thoughts. Now, what's the monk doing in the first picture? The monk is chasing the wild elephant. So, the monk, for the first time, probably has seen this wilderness of this elephant and the silliness of the monkey. That's the first time we sit to meditate and we see all these random thoughts running in our head, and the mind is clinging to one thought or the other and it's feeling affected by those thoughts. So, the monk is us the first time we meditate. We also get angry with our mind, like, why are you getting so attached with those thoughts? Don't you know we don't have to interact with them? That's the entire point of meditation. So that's what the first step is. But you need to be cognizant of the fact that it's important, because, well, the first step is what leads to the last step. So let's see what's happening in the second picture now. We notice that the monk has become considerably more patient and peaceful. This is when we meditate, and with experience and practice, we come to the understanding that through chasing and through putting more and more efforts in trying to tame the mind, we will not be able to overcome the silliness and the wild nature of the mind. Because the more efforts you put in, you are playing a role in this entire circus. So the second step is when the monk, or you, the real self, realizes the futility of efforts in trying to control situations and control the mind and the thought. Well, still, we do see that the monkey is taking the elephant. The silly thoughts and the mind are still interconnected, clung with each other, and just traveling to places haphazardly. But you have a certain peace with you. In the third step, for the first time, this is a very historical step. For the first time, your mind looks at the self. The mind becomes aware that there is something other than thoughts about the entire existence. As I said, until now, the mind only knew thoughts, and that was its entire world. But here is a mind bending experience in the true sense. Moving on to the fourth step, we see a new character in the story, and the new character is the fox. The fox represents suspicion. As the mind looks at the awareness, it starts to get disenchanted with the thoughts and the silliness of the dreams and the guilt and the brainstorming and the procrastination and in the entire chase of the world. The rat race seems stupid to the mind now. But as this happens, it is followed by this sense of suspicion. Well, maybe I'm getting gaslighted by this entire process. Maybe I am fooling myself into thinking this is the case. And maybe the world is correct because, well, the entire world cannot be stupid who's running behind ambitions and dreams and successful careers and whatever. And here I am who's doubting my own thoughts and my own ambitions and my own mind. This cannot be true. So, this is the first time that the suspicion arises in your head like maybe this entire spiritual journey is a tale that I've been telling myself. So, let's move forward. How does this suspicion go away? Well, we see that the monk is now standing in front of the elephant. The awareness is in front of the mind. The awareness is the biggest proof of this entire spiritual journey. You become aware of the awareness itself, how untouched and untinted awareness is, how innocent and unconditioned awareness is. And there is no way that you can earn some amount of money that will make your awareness superior, or there is no way you lose some money that will make your awareness inferior. Awareness has this characterless character. So there is no way you can add to your awareness, and there is no way you can remove from the awareness. There is no way you can put your awareness in competition, and that is the awareness that you are. So once the mind is acquainted with the awareness, the suspicion starts to go away. Now we move to the sixth step. In this step, the suspicion is gone, and fortunate are the people who are able to reach this step, where the rebound efforts of the mind in trying to get into the same rut and the same rat race do not become successful. In this, we see that the mind has finally realized the grace and the beauty and the real authority of awareness. And the thoughts are not something that the mind runs behind anymore. The thoughts stay behind the mind, which stays behind the awareness. So, for the first time, you have this right chronology and a peaceful synchronicity between your mental and your conscious and your thoughts. Moving on to the seventh step. This is the step when the thoughts have finally realized that there is no real point in trying to stay and move the mind in one direction or the other like a misguided messiah, because now awareness has taken the central position in this entire situation. The monkey thoughts at last bow down in front of awareness and take a parting goodbye. And we see in step 8 now that the thoughts are nowhere to be seen. The thoughts have just become a utility. Now the seeker has practiced enough that there is this tranquility and peace that persists. There is almost no influence of thoughts. Now the practitioner can sit in meditation without the overwhelming train of thoughts. At this point, even the clouds that were remaining of thoughts while you meditate have started to disappear. And the new normal is a free and open mind, just like the open sky. And now we come to step 9, where the mind has finally submitted. The ego, the mind, the marketplace computer that you are blessed with has finally realized that it is extremely pointless, that the only worth there is that of awareness. And for the first time, your being is lit up with awareness and only awareness. So you see, there is a halo behind the monk now. The monk has finally become the Buddha. And the step 10 is just the life thereafter. So, well, that was the map or the path to enlightenment. And I hope we all learned something in this discussion and video. Well, feel free to reach out for anything that you'd like to share, and I'll meet you in the next video.